All right, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. This is Ellen Winn. Welcome to our Monday night Team Win Zoom. We do this meeting every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We're super excited that you're here. I normally have a co-host running with me tonight, and my co-host had another function to attend at the last minute today, so I'm going on my own here. I do have, if you guys will please make sure you're muted in the background and monitor yourself there so I can stay focused on what we're covering tonight. We've got some great information we're going to cover and go through some training. And then at the end, I'll take question and answer from you guys if you have anything, whether it's something that you've seen over the past couple of weeks with DAC, something in your new in your business, or something that we cover tonight. I'm open for questions on anything DAC. Okay, real quick, if you haven't read my bio, I have an extensive background as a business owner. I started my own business in 1997 as a restaurateur after working 8.5 years in upper management with Domino's Pizza. When I left them in 97, I walked away from a supervisory role as an operations director over 74 stores in the state of Georgia, and decided I wanted to branch out and do my own thing. I started one restaurant. A couple of years later, I opened a second restaurant. And about 6.5 years in, I was hitting burnout, hit a brick wall. And as I was talking to a friend one day about exit strategies, she introduced me to a couple of friends that had great success in the network marketing industry. In fact, they had made millions in the network marketing industry. I didn't know what network marketing was, but I did know that when I first saw that business model, it looked exactly like the franchising model that I was so familiar with from my days in corporate America. Let me see, somebody is unmuted here. Give me a second. See who has unmuted. Mute. Let me go, let me change the settings here a second. Yeah, if you will, if you'll make sure that your microphone is muted. I did not change that setting to mute everyone on entrance. Pam, if you're on, can you please help me if you see any microphones that are muted? If you, as a co-host, if you can go and click on mute so that we have silence in the background with these new folks coming on, that'd be great. Okay, but anyway, that business model that I saw, it looked exactly like the franchising model that we're also accustomed to and what I had been working in for 8.5 years, except it didn't have the high overhead cost, it didn't have the high monthly expenses, and it didn't have any employees. So I saw an opportunity to get out of the restaurant industry. I got involved full-time, and within less than a year, I was able to replace my income from what I was doing in restaurants and be able to go full-time in network marketing. Over the years, since that was in 2002, over the years, I've been involved with several different companies, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know until you're in the middle of things. And the first company I was with was a startup company. You know, they gave me this pitch of, hey, it's a brand new company, ground floor opportunity. Nobody else is here. You build a team, and everybody that comes into the company, you're going to have an opportunity to override them all. And I thought that was a great opportunity. Well, if you've ever been involved with a company that was ground floor, brand new, getting started, and it's not here today, say an amen to that one, because that's really not always the best opportunity when it comes to a direct selling or network marketing business. But I found a couple of companies along the way that are still here today, but they just weren't a great fit for me. But when I saw DAC and saw what we're doing here in the business to business space, it really resonated with me, because I had been that business owner that needed money from the bank and couldn't get it from the bank. And when I was opening my second location, I needed additional cash to build out that second location. I borrowed part of the money from the bank, but the rest of the money I had to draw from my 401k, and I drained my savings to open that second location. So when I heard the David Allen Capital pitch, it really resonated with me, because I had been there, done that, and I knew the pain and the need in the marketplace for what we offer with our alternative funding. So let me get us into screen share mode, and I will get us kicked off with the presentation here. And let's see. Screen share, here we go. All right. Now I've got DAC to the rescue on screen. And this is our slide where all of us have that superhero uniform on under us, right? With our knowledge level of DAC and the understanding of what we have to offer here. But it's up to you as to whether you peel back your day-to-day clothes and expose that DAC uniform and let the world know about what we have to offer. So I start out here with our recruiting, and our recruiting is the lifeblood of our business. This is for the week of March 6th through March 12th. We had quite a few new agents come in for the week. In first place, our top recruiter for the week was Justin Birch. Congratulations, Justin. He had 15 new agent recruits. In second place, we had Tam Pham with 5 new agent recruits. Great job, Tam. Third place, we had D'Anthony Thomas with 4 new agent recruits. And in fourth place, we had a 2-way tie between Gregory Berteo Family Industries and Evelyn Tarver, each with 3 new agent recruits. And then we had a 6-way tie with 5th place, each with 2 new agents each. Katina Willis, Chonbury Winn, Experior Company, Lisa Campbell, Noel Booker, and Pamela Warnock. So congratulations to all of you that made the leaderboard tonight. Super excited to see you having the success that you have. And again, if you will, please check to make sure that you're muted. I'm seeing some, hearing some noise in the background. I did not, let me set that mute participants upon entry. I'll select that. So if we had anybody else new, then they will be muted. Faye from Seattle, your microphone is unmuted and I cannot mute you. So if you will, please make sure that you're muted, or at least keep noise down in the background, and be greatly appreciated. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, on to the next slide. Let me get us over, get back up. I'm trying to move this out of my way so I can see my screen. All in all, with the recruits, we had 32 people who had at least 1 new agent recruit for the week, and a total of 63 new agents joining the team. So I've noticed our recruiting numbers are going back up. We saw at the beginning of the year when we made our transition from separating from our previous marketing relationship with Longevity. Those of you who are new, you may not even know what I'm talking about, but for the entire almost 5 years that I've been with DAC, we had a marketing partnership with another company that was in the nutritional space, consumer product space. And after a long time of working with them, we realized that our relationship was not fueling their business, and their relationship with us was not fueling our business. So we decided to go our separate way, and it's really freed us up to do a lot here with our new IT and our new web and our new back office. So a lot of exciting things. We've had a lot of product launches over the past couple of months and more to come, but it's an exciting time to be here and be a part of DAC. So as I said, the recruiting numbers have started to go back up, especially after our compensation launch went live last Tuesday night. We're going to touch on that a little bit tonight. But first, I want to go through some recognition with some agents who have gotten promoted. We have, as you there we go. All right. I had to unmute myself. As you saw, if you watched the presentation on Tuesday night, or new compensation training, you see that we have ranks where you can move through the ranks in the residual compensation plan, as well as move through the ranks in the bonus compensation plan. And let me let a couple of people in here. And moving through the ranks requires some volume. All right. So let's talk about this first volume before I go into those. Let me go back up. All right. The qualifications to go to DAC 1. To get to DAC 1, you have to have at least 1 personal new qualifying bonus client. What is a qualifying bonus client, or a QBC? That is a client that has a minimum of $600 in bonus revenue. Okay. And then there's a second piece of that equation. The second piece is the total bonus volume from your personal clients has to be at least 1,000 or more, right? So if you have one qualifying client that only has 600 in bonus revenue, you've met part of the equation, but you didn't meet the $1,000 minimum. So it has to be both combined, right? So our new DAC ones for the week, we have Keith Calley Sr. and Gregory Bonilla. Congratulations to you both. I haven't looked to see if either of you are on here tonight. If you are, please raise your hand. I'd love to hear from you, to hear your comments about getting to DAC 1. I don't see hands going up, so I don't see either one of you on here, and I apologize. Normally we try to get out and make calls and ask people, do they want to participate and do a testimonial? And I didn't get that done today. And I don't think Harlequin was able to make contact with Keith Calley Sr. But congratulations to you guys for making DAC 1. Also, we have DAC 2 promotions. To get to DAC 2, the qualifications are to have a minimum of 2 personal new qualifying bonus clients and that are a minimum of 600 each, just like on DAC 1, but you have to have 2 of them now instead of just 1. And you also have to have total bonus volume from your personal clients, cumulative total volume of 2,000 or more. That really hasn't changed from the way the compensation plan has always been. We're just talking about that volume in a different percentage ratio. And the reason that we're talking about that volume differently and as 600 versus 6,000 is because all of these new programs that we're bringing on board, we used to go by funded value. And since we have more than just funding products that will qualify you in the bonus plan, we had to go to a common term that would apply to all of our services that we're bringing on board. But no further ado, our DAC 2, we have Nick Apollo and Reese Carpenter. Congratulations to you two for hitting DAC 2. I know that I have a quick testimonial video from Reese. I talked to him over the weekend. He wasn't going to be able to be here tonight because he had to work. For those of you that have been following, Reese just hit DAC 1 like week before last, and this is his 3rd funding. He got started with us in January, and he's had 3 fundings now. So just thinking of his progression through, he's really focused on getting fundings, and I'll let him tell the story because I've got a little video here that he recorded when I asked him if he would come on and do a testimonial. He said, I'd love to, but I'm not going to be around, but maybe a video would work. So we did a video. All right, so here's Reese Carpenter.
Okay, this is a video for Team Winn. Ellen Winn this weekend for the end of the week. And joining me to speak 1 or 2 minutes. So for all the people that are new or trying to figure out how they go about things, this file, David Allen Capital's corporate videos and Ellen Wynn's guidance, best way to say is guidance on how to proceed. When it comes to marketing, try them all. The most important thing that I spoke with Ellen is when you get a commission, whether it be a few hundred or over 1,000, like my last funding, when you plan on taxes and put money back into your business, the most important thing about putting money back into your business is whatever marketing you're using, whether it be paid ads, using drop cards, business cards, paying for a post on Twitter or Facebook or one of the other social medias. The most important thing is to take part of your earnings and invest it right back into your business. That's what I'm doing. And I got a budget set up for myself. So the most important, I want to point out that what David Allen Capital said was 80% of the businesses out there are going to be disapproved or say they don't qualify through a bank. Now, with the latest news, there is banking issues going on. We specialize in alternative funding. That's the way I understand it. Now, there's 30 some million businesses out there, whether it be big or small. And you got to look at it this way. You're not just trying to figure out how to earn money. The key point is, okay, what product or service of David Allen Capital are you going to promote? Are you going to promote the business funding? Are you going to promote the commercial real estate? Are you going to promote the payday thing, the payroll thing, where you can make money on each individual employee that's signed up to a business to use the payroll? The choice is yours. But the number one thing I want you to consider, as for me, just doing this video for Ellen and the entire team, is figure out what part of this platform that you want to promote, how you're going to go about it, and don't be afraid to ask the leadership questions. You're not going to find an answer to something by not asking the question. And the last thing I kind of closed out with Ellen with a few days ago about was most people who join some kind of side business, whether it be in a traditional MLM, David on Capital, or any other business, you're not going to accomplish anything by just sitting on the couch and thinking about it. Take action. Now, it's always good to look at the videos. Ellen Winn has most of her videos on YouTube, public. Any member of David Allen Capital can go on YouTube, look at his videos, or look at Ellen's videos, and I'm sure there's lots of other DAC agents with their own YouTube channels. Take what is constructive guidance from those videos and move forward with it. That's all I got to say is you can actually make really good side money or a full-time business. Ellen Winn is full-time, but she's got some side businesses, but she works this thing basically full-time. David is working this full-time. He's the owner, and he's constantly looking at how to expand it and how to offer more product and services for the platform. So y'all have a blessed day. This is Sunday. I'm recording this on Sunday. So y'all have a blessed day and just move forward. Okay.
All right. Awesome. Let me get us back out of there. Let's see if I can get us back over to the right slides. So that was Reese, and I love that he shared multiple points there. One, he shared his belief in what we're marketing, right? He said, I believe it's revenue-based funding, but he has a belief that the business owners need what we have, that 80% that we teach in the training, right? And he also talked about how he pulls a portion of his income and puts it back into his business. He's reinvesting that into the business. And then he talks about, if you don't know something, ask for help, ask the leadership for help and get the right answers. You don't have to go it alone. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. That's one of the beautiful things that we have with our compensation plan. So let me see if I can get that back up and move on to the next slide. Maybe. Give me a second. Figure out how to get back up to that, because I've got more slides that you need to see. Looks like I got to restart my window there for a second.
Okay.
Here it comes. Bear with me. Gotta love live, right? Never know what you're running into. All right, let's go back to screen share since I have that back up. And is Nick on with us? Nick, if you're out there, please raise your hand. I'd love to hear from you as well. I don't see Nick either. All right. we'll go on. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is that
Okay,
one. Hang on. Keeps going back to, let me figure this out a second. It keeps going back to the video. Let me see if I can manually go past
okay,
that
this
slide.
is
Yep, here we go. I'm going to manually go into this next slide. All right. Now you should see that back on the screen. All right, so we just went through the commissions, or actually not the commissions, but advancing to DAC 1, DAC 2, and so on with our recognition there. What I want to talk to you about is the comp plan that was just rolled out. And David did an edit on that comp plan this afternoon. In fact, I'm going to show you that actual slide. I've got it pulled up here and show you what I'm talking about. It is actually page, here we go, page 6 in the compensation document. If you don't know where to find this, it's in the Agent Resource Center, which is, there's a link at the bottom of your page. David announced today that next week that Agent Resource Center is only going to be accessible through the back office. So you have to log into your back office to be able to get to it. I'm glad we're doing that. That way it's not just there in public view. But the Agent Resource Center, when you click on that, you want to go to the compensation tab across the top of the page, and you'll see this PDF document. It is a pop-out window that allows you to open up the full PDF and be able to scroll through it as I am here on screen. So page 6 is what got updated. If you're like me and you already had this printed out, then you'll want to reprint page 6 so that you can see the updated version. There were some titles here across the top of the page, as there are on the residual page, but on the residual page there are different qualifications. So these titles were here on the bonus page, and it was a little bit confusing, so David removed those today. So that's what I want to point out. But let's go through these qualifications, okay? DAC 1, 2, and 4. These are the only qualifications that you can achieve in the bonus plan without building a team, okay? So how do you get there? As I said, to get to DAC 1, you need at least one new qualifying bonus client, minimum of 600 bonus revenue, and $1,000 cumulative bonus revenue. To get to DAC 2, you need 2, and total cumulative of 2,000 bonus revenue. And to get to DAC 4, you need at least 4 qualifying customers and a total of 4,000 in cumulative bonus revenue. All right. Now, here's what I want to cover is, if you notice on the screen here, it says paid on bonus on business fundings, which is the only override that we used to get paid on, because business fundings used to be our only upfront program. A long time ago, we offered upfront bonuses on payment processing, but we had some scamsters that came in and they spoiled it for everybody because they were taking advantage of it. They were getting the upfront bonus, and then they were going back and switching that client off to another payment processor. So they were gaming the system and taking advantage of it. So we no longer have those bonuses, but bonuses on business funding used to be the only upfront money there. Since we rolled out the ERC program back in October, we're starting to see those ERC commissions coming in, but David has also added bonus overrides on other services with upfront bonus payout. So that's what I want to cover in depth tonight. And that one bonus, upfront bonus service that we have besides funding and besides ERCs is Relevate. Okay, I'm super excited about the Relevate product, and I want to cover that portion of the comp plan that breaks it down for you so you have a clear understanding of how Relevate can qualify you to move through DAC 1, DAC 2, and DAC 4, moving up in the compensation plan before you even have a team, so that when you start building a team, if you want to build one, now this doesn't even matter to you if you're not going to be building a team at some point, but if you're moving through the comp plan, DAC 1, DAC 2, DAC 4, when you start having a team that is producing, then you're positioning yourself to earn those matching bonus overrides. But let's take a look at the screen here. And this came from the bonus page, which I'll go back over to the document itself. This came from the bonus page here near the end of the PDF. It's actually page 14. It's printed as page 13 as to what you see there on the printed document, but page 14 if you're looking at it online. Okay, so back over to my slide. You'll notice that Relevate, the explanation here is that bonus revenue, or BR, varies by size of company. See below. Okay, residual bonus revenue, or residual revenue, RR, also varies by client, but averages $1 per employee per month. The bonus revenue value, and this is the upfront bonus revenue value. Okay, so just reading you through this document. BR value, if the company size is less than 500 employees, there is a $200 bonus revenue attached to a 500 or less employer group. Okay, plus $4 per direct deposit account. So for example, we have a 300 person employer group that comes on as a Relevate client. Based on what you're seeing here, that's 300, that's less than a 500 employee group, right? So that would be $200 bonus revenue. So if you write down $200, and then just for calculation purposes, let's assume that that employer says, okay, we're going to mandate that everybody move over to Relevate, and we're going to have 100% participation in this, which they don't have to, right? If it's a 100+ employee group, it's voluntary, and they do not have to do 100% participation. But for this purpose, we're going to do 100% participation. That would be 300 direct deposit accounts. So if that direct deposit account gives us $4 per direct deposit account, $4 times 300 would be $1,200, right? So we got $1,200 for the direct deposits plus $200 for that business of 300. Now we have $1,400 in bonus revenue. That $1,400 would be what would go right here. It would count as a qualifying client, okay, because it's over 600. As we look back up here at the coding chart, it would count as a qualifying client, that one Relevate account would, and the bonus volume would be 1,400 points, which would put you at DAC 1 on your next client, right? So I wanted you to understand that. And then you can see as you move up in size of companies, that bonus revenue increases. As the bonus revenue increases, so does your income potential. So a 500 to 1,000 employees, the bonus revenue is $400, $4 per direct deposit. 1,000 to 3,000 employees, $800, $4 per direct deposit. When you get over 3,000 up to 5,000 employees, it's $2,000 in bonus revenue, and then 5,000 plus is 4,000 in bonus revenue. Now, that's bonus revenue, and that bonus revenue is what's working for you to move through the compensation plan, okay? But it's not what you earn. So look at the headings here, and it explains your bonus revenue is in that first column, okay? So it's explaining that the Relevate bonus revenue is up to 4,000 with that larger company, and up to $4 plus $4 per direct deposit account. The qualifying volume is going to apply on the residual compensation plan. So the QV over there is going to be $1 average per employee. So that example, that 300 person group, if you look over at the residual plan, let's go back over on the chart. I'll show you where to look at that one. Just want to teach you how to analyze this and analyze the product and see where it's going to get you as you move through the compensation plan. So we're going to go to the residual payout here. Uh-oh, I skipped it. Went to the wrong one. Okay, the residual commission This particular product, if it's $1 per client residually on that 300 mandated person account, then we've got $300 in qualifying volume that would go here under personal qualifying volume, right? PQV. So that's how you would calculate that off of the volume here. And the next column is residual revenue. Well, the residual revenue is what's going to pay you, right? We're going to have $1 per employee, and then the QV qualifying volume and RR residual revenue. It comes out monthly, and that qualifying period it starts at the end of the second month following activation. So these are going to count to help you move through the bonus comp plan, but it's kind of like ERCs. ERCs are delayed, right? ERCs may take up to 10 months to hit, and they don't count for you until the client has received their money, and then the client pays the CPA team, and then they pay us, right? So there's a long sales cycle on ERCs. There's a long sales cycle on Relevate, but not near as long as ERCs. If you need now money, the only now money is really our funding products, because you get paid the next day after the client receives their money. And we've got a couple of day turnaround on most of our funding programs, okay? And then this next column is the agent commission. This is where you get paid. This is the dollars that go into your Relevate account. So 50% of the bonus revenue. So remember that example that I gave where you've got a 300 person group under the 500 employees, you're going to get paid. It's 200 in bonus revenue plus another $4 per employee for a total of 1,400. Your actual commission on that would be $700 on that 300 employee group. Okay, that's your bonus, your upfront bonus initially, and then every month, that $1 average on the residual revenue, you're going to make 20 to 50% of that, or 20 cents out of a dollar up to 50 cents out of a dollar. So that's the cash part of what you're going to earn with that. But I wanted you to see this so you can understand, because I think Relevate is one of the most powerful programs that we have. It goes hand in hand with the employee retention credit. Why? Because the employee retention credit is available to employers that had W-2 employees, and that's the same target market that we're talking about Relevate with, right? We're just looking for some larger employer groups for the Relevate offering. But as you're trying to stir up the prospective client for ERC or Relevate, you're going to run across some that work for both, right? Or maybe you've already been doing ERCs for another company prior to DAC launching, and you have some employer groups out there that would qualify. 25 or more employees are eligible for Relevate, and at 25 or more, it's based on what Relevate thinks, but they have it's discretionary. They have the ability to allow a 25 employee group that has 100% participation to start on the pay any day program with Relevate. So a tremendous opportunity to go back and cross sell to someone that you may have already brought on as an ERC client and add value program to what they have to offer. So let's talk about Relevate, and then I'll go to questions. I brought this up last week or week before last, kind of my selling point and talking points, I would say, about Relevate, and they've changed as I've gone through it over and over again. I've changed it a little bit, so I'm going to go through that with you tonight. But Relevate, a powerful recruiting and retention tool and a financial wellness benefit. My talking points now would be talking to a business owner or an executive about an innovative recruiting and retention tool. And conversation would go like this, the headline there. Hey, I wanted to talk to you today about a program that we're marketing that is an innovative recruiting and retention tool. If you look at Americans today, the majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, actually 78% of them. If they have a shortage of funds before payday, they end up paying late fees, overdraft fees, and huge fees to check cashers and payday loans. Well, we have an innovative solution that is proven to help reduce stress on your employees when they run into cash flow challenges. It's called Earned Wage Access. And our product allows your employees to draw up to 50% of their gross wages without paying interest when they need cash between paydays. It is no cost for you to offer it, and it is proven to help improve recruiting and retention. It'll save your company money as well as save your employees money. And the founders of our platform have an extensive background in the payments and financial arena and have been featured in Forbes and American Banker as innovators in this space. Does this sound like something you would be interested in exploring further? So those are my bullet points. And of course, I'm just reading through those bullet points for you right now, but giving you some talking points so that you can make this into a conversation for yourself. If you haven't, take a screenshot with the Windows screenshot feature, or if you're on your phone, do a screenshot of that, just to give you an opening line, because I've had many conversations about Pay Any Day, and I kept stumbling over what it was that we're doing and trying to get into too much explanation about the product. But instead of explaining about the product, we need to explain about the problem. David gave this example several weeks ago, and I've heard it many times before. When someone goes into the hardware store looking for a 1/4-inch drill bit, they're not looking just to have the drill bit. They're looking for a solution to drill a 1/4-inch hole, right? And the problem is they need that hole, and they're looking for the tool to solve the problem. So we have to point out what the problem is when we're talking about Relevate and bringing that to awareness, because otherwise, if we start talking about a pay card and this and that, people aren't excited about it. But when you bring the problem to their awareness about the majority of Americans living paycheck to paycheck and running into shortages in between payday, then we're getting their attention on why they need to listen to what we have to offer and how our solution might be a really good thing for their company. So that was my last slide. Oh, wait, no, one more slide here. As we're talking about the compensation plan and moving into Relevate there, the strategy to maximize our compensation plan is to go for one new client a month. If it is Relevate, bring a new client on a month. It may take you a couple of months to get that snowball effect going, but once you get them in the hopper, then you'll have another one and another one and another one coming to fruition and actually becoming a live account that starts counting for you for qualification purposes and starts paying you income, the bonus, and then the residual as well. If it's ERC, it's a long process to get there. But again, you get that snowball effect. As you start putting them in the funnel and they start coming out, we're starting to see the payday now for those ERC clients. We started this program in October. We figured it would start around February or March, and we're already starting to get commissions on some of those ERC clients that got started early on. So you want to get one new client a month. That's going to get you in an amped up status if you're bringing in bonus clients and that have at least 600 in bonus volume. If you didn't catch that on the slide here, as we look at our compensation plan, and I didn't pull that up, but let me go over to the pay plan. If you didn't catch that, you can get amped up by having other services, not just funding. What does Amped Up do? It pays you double on your personal bonuses, okay? It pays you double on your funding bonuses, and it pays you double on overrides. So to get amped up, you have a new qualifying client with 600 plus bonus revenue, and that qualifies you with any of our products that are upfront bonuses will qualify you there for Amped Up. So that's a really big deal. Let me go back over to the slide. That one new client a month, staying amped up, and then reaching that 2,000 in personal residual revenue. That one client account that I gave the example, that $300 a month, that's one Relevate account that qualifies you in the pay plan for residuals because it's a minimum of 200. So I'm going to take us off of screen share now and just really want to have a conversation with you about how to make money with DAC. I had a conversation today with a gentleman I see is on here tonight, and he's like, Ellen, what do you do? Obviously, you've made some money here. Want to know what I do. So I'll tell you what I do. I have consistent conversations with somebody new every single day. Many days I have multiple conversations, or I'm following up with people that I've already had a conversation with. But if you sit back, if you're a secret agent or a silent agent, you're not going to have success here. But you got to plant the seeds and start filling the funnel. And it's just a matter of time before people will start popping out of the funnel, or you'll start getting referrals where you've sat down and had a cup of coffee with a business owner and talked to them about their business, right? I've gone here recently, I've been doing those one-on-one business meetings, just sitting down and getting to know some of the members of my local chamber of commerce, right? It's one thing to go to a meeting and be in a room with 10, 20, 30, 40 people, depending on which event I go to. It's great to go in and everybody knows my face and name now, and they see me walk in, they go, "Hey, Ellen," or we all sit at a table because we've gotten friendly with each other. But it's really another thing to sit down and do one-on-one meetings with those folks and get to know them. I just did a meeting with one of our local, she's actually an ambassador with me, and she's an Aflac agent. And I was listening to her talking recently, and she was talking about she had a group enrollment to do in the next couple of days. And I said, you and I really need to sit down and have a cup of coffee, because when she said group, I'm thinking, okay, she's dealing with employers that have employees, right? And I need to get a feel for what she's doing, because I'm in the business space. If she's got something that that would benefit my people, I want to be able to refer business to her and vice versa. So we sat down, had coffee. I already had a basic understanding of Aflac, but after talking to her, I'm like, I need to get you to review a couple of policies that I have, because you may have something that benefits me better. But I also quickly thought of 2 or 3 people that would be great referrals for her, right? But in our conversation, she said, "Ellen, tell me a little bit more about what David Allen Capital is all about," because she knows my company. She hears me every meeting get to announce my name and who I'm with. And I'm Ellen Winn Agency with David Allen Capital. That's how I market myself in the chamber, right? But she said, "I don't know that I have a real good understanding of what you do, other than you offer funding to businesses." So I touched quickly. I said, "Yep, that's been our flagship product for the past almost 5 years that I've been involved with the company. But we've started releasing some new programs, and a couple of programs that I'm super excited about. The employee retention credit. And by the way, y'all listen up while I'm talking about this. The employee retention credit is really one of those time-sensitive programs. And David stated today that at the end of April, next month, some of the value available to the business owners that have not applied for the employee retention credit yet is going to go away, because they've got a 2-year look back window. And as we roll into taxes being due, they're going to lose a whole quarter that they could be eligible for. So if you've got people that you've talked to about the employee retention credit, you need to follow back up with them and let them know, hey, we're on a timeline here, and time's getting away where you might lose some money that you might be eligible for, just because it's going to start wiping quarters of eligibility off of the calendar. So get back with people and follow up on that, okay? But I mentioned the ERC to her, and then what I really thought that there was a great connection on would be Relevate. So I talked to her extensively about Relevate and the benefit there. And she said, "Ellen, I'm meeting with a group this week now, that might be a good fit for that." She said, "What do I need to say?" And I gave her my little elevator pitch that I just covered with you on earned wage access and how it improves employees' financial stress by giving them access to their wages in between pay periods, right? And she said, "Yeah, I can do that." So I'm hoping to get a referral from her, but that's part of my day-to-day is just talking to people. I'm on the phone a large percentage of my day. I'm either on the phone talking to new prospects or helping you guys with your prospects, or I'm sending out emails, doing follow-ups, and just really keeping my ears open for where there is an opportunity that I can help somebody, right? Help them with my business experience or my services that we market through DAC. I just really want to be of value to other people in my community, whether it's my business experience and I can give them tips or pointers, or whether I have a service that David Allen Capital can help them with, or whether I can be a connector. I met with another friend a week ago, and we were talking about that. You know, I gave him credit, and I told him this when I saw him. I gave him credit for helping really teach me the value of what networking is all about, because I stood back at a distance and I watched him work, and it was amazing, because he would meet someone, and within a matter of just a few minutes of talking with someone, he would say, "Hey, I know somebody that you need to meet." And I watched him do that time and time again. He used to be one of the agents in the training center that I ran here in Atlanta with the network marketing company, where we did telecommunications. But he would come in, and he was just a great connector of people. And that's really what networking is all about. So as I look to help people, I'm looking at, how can I help you? How can I connect you with someone that can help you or be of value to you in your life, or have similar circumstances that you might benefit creating a relationship with. And I'm constantly doing that. So that's what I do to grow my David Allen Capital business. And those are the best words of advice that I can give you. One more thing before we go to questions, and that is, you may have heard today, if you listen to the Zoom, David said, I reached out to him yesterday. I did that a couple of times, because I've got David Allen Capital on my mind 7 days a week, whether I'm actively working the business or not. I'm thinking about it. I wake up in the middle of the night, many nights, going, oh man, and I have an idea, and I need to make a note in my phone, or it wakes me up thinking about something, an idea, a way to market, or whatever. So DAC is in my blood. It is in my heart. And it is in my future forever, as far as I can see. I truly believe that DAC is a company that's going to be here far beyond the years that I will live. It will outlive me and many of you on here, and hopefully many generations of your family, because I believe that's the type of company that David Rutz has put into place and is building. And fortunately, we're all here at a time 7 years in, going in 7.5 years into the ground floor being developed with DAC, where all of the ugly, nasty stuff has been finished out. We've got the company support behind us. We've got the systems in place. It's not perfect, and it never will be, but that's part of growing a business and changing and developing over time. I look in front of me, I have a new computer. It's a Windows 11. Yes, I'm a Windows baby. I'm not an Apple products girl, but I've got a Windows 11. And I think back of the generations of computers that I've had over time. Back when, I don't even remember what the operating system was. It was DOS initially when I first used a computer, but then we had, gosh, I don't even remember, before Windows came along. But all of this different evolution of technology that got us to where we are today. And that's where DAC is. We're evolving. I see some of you on here tonight that got started with DAC 3 or 4 years ago and got totally unplugged because you didn't like the program as it was then. I understand. I just had the vision and the foresight to know what David was building. And I knew that if I stick and stay and start helping build a team, that it's going to pay me beyond my wildest dreams in the years to come. And I see that coming to fruition right now. So I'll go to your questions, and hopefully something that I have said tonight has been helpful. All right, Bobby Knight, I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you doing tonight, Bobby?
Hello, Ellen. I want to thank you, and you always bring value every time you come to the call. I appreciate you so much. I got a few questions here. Ellen, I did ask David about updating the personal commission with, the daily pay. He did update that, ranging from 40% to 80%. So I appreciate that part of it. Ellen, could you give a illustration? And I did try to do the screenshot of that script you did, but I'm not the greatest technical person. Could you give us a illustration of if a person was just doing the funding part of it, what would they get paid, and what's the lowest amount that a person can get paid on a funding based on that 40 to 80% daily pay funding commission?
Sure, let me get screen share back up here. So let's go back over to the comp sheet, right? So on that question, that's a great question, Bobby. Thank you. And thank you for your kind words. I really appreciate you. You always bring value with your questions, right? So thank you for that. So if you look at the personal bonus commissions on the sheet here, page number 5, it explains that whatever that funded amount is, our bonus revenue is typically 10% of the loan amount, okay? And we make a minimum of 40% of that 10. In the old terms, we made 4% of whatever the client gets. And that's still how the math works out. But again, David has changed up how we're talking about this. Instead of it just being 4% of funded value, since we don't have just funded value anymore with Relevate, and soon to have Zoom coming on as one of the programs that pays that big upfront money. We had to transition from talking about funded value to talking about bonus revenue so that it's applicable to every service that we market, and we're not having terminology for this product and that product, just something that was ubiquitous for us to talk about. So the minimum you're going to make is 4% of whatever the client gets, right? So if they get a Giggle client, that one is reduced even more, because Giggle, if we go down here, back to that sheet that I was showing you, if we look at fundings here, I'll pull this up. This talks about funding clients. And let's see. Here we go. New Giggle fundings are at 7% bonus revenue and are only reported to us every 2 weeks. So instead of 40%, you get 7% of that on Giggle clients. It used to be 70% funded value. It's 7% of the 10%. So it's 7%. So it's reduced. So if you get a Giggle client, you're not making a lot of money. So you're asking what the minimum is. It really just depends on how much money that particular client borrows as to how much you get paid out. Does that answer your question on the fundings there, Bobby?
So if a person got a $10,000 funding, we'll get 7% of that?
No. That's only on Giggle, okay? Giggle. And why is it lowered on Giggle? Because Giggle is an automated process, and it's intended for those business owners or 1099 workers that are working out of a personal checking account, or doing less than $5,000 in revenue, or have credit scores that are below our 500 threshold, right? They go over to Giggle. And because it's an automated process, it is built for speed, and they know that it's a small amount that gets paid out in commissions because of the low revenue amount. So it's a reduced funded value for us, which just puts it in our new terms of 7% bonus revenue versus 10% bonus revenue. Okay, it still equates to the same old terms where it used to be 70% of the funded value. It still is, but 7% bonus revenue is how we're looking at it now. Okay. But no, if they get $100,000, you're going to make 40% of the bonus revenue, which equates to 4% of the funding. So they get 100,000, you get 4,000 as a commission. Does that make sense?
Okay, so if a person gets a $10,000 funding, we'll just get 4% of that?
You're going to get 40% of the bonus revenue. So I want you to, it's a transition from the old way of looking at funding, and it's the same dollar amount. Okay. We used to talk about funded value, and you made 4% of the funded value of the loan, which 4% of $10,000 is $400, right?
Yes.
Now we're transitioning that conversation. Instead of talking about funded value, because we have these other products that pay upfront bonuses, we're talking about bonus revenue. So that's the example here, where the bonus revenue is usually 10% of whatever the client, of the funded amount, as it says here. Okay, could be lower or could be higher depending on the final terms. In this case, where it says giggle is 7% bonus revenue. Okay, because it's reduced because it doesn't pay the same commissions that a higher funding does. Does that answer your question?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, did you have another question there, Bobby?
No, that'll be it right now. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Ellen.
Yep, and if you need some more explanation, I'm happy to talk with you offline on that, okay? I think if you'll read that comp sheet and then work it out on a piece of paper. I was doing that today with a couple of things that I had questions about, and I clarified things with David. And, you know, I did a worksheet, I wrote it out, and then I sent him a text and I said, based on what I'm reading here, here's what this is, here's what this is. He went through and he said, correct. And so I was making sure I understood it correctly. All right. Thank you for your question there, Bobby. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Right, let's go to Shelton. How are you tonight, Shelton? Can you unmute yourself? Let's
There
try.
it goes.
There we go.
All right. I'm doing good. Quick question. Today, David said that because I've heard it said several times that we don't have to worry about the ERC for them to start losing how much they might be able to get back on the ERC until next year. But today he said starting April, each month is going to start dropping off on amounts. So is it this year, April, or next year?
No, it is this year. Yeah. So we have until 2025, right? But when we get to 2025, they're going to be down to the last quarter, only one quarter out of the 7 qualifying quarters that they have available now. So it's a 2-year look back on the quarters that they had to apply for. And I may not be stating that correctly, but April of this year, we're going to start knocking off quarters. And every quarter that we dig into this year, so April, then at the end of June, we will have lost another quarter, if you think about that on the look back terms. So yes,
Okay.
It is this year that they're going to start, it's going to start whittling away, so to speak, at their eligible refund amount if they don't get on the ball and get that process started.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for the question. All right, Jimmy, how are you tonight?
Okay, I'm doing good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I have a question in regards to Elevate. I know it was a few weeks ago when we had that special the Zoom with the founders of the platform.
Mhm.
And if my memory is correct, I'll probably have it. Actually, I need to go back and rewatch that Zoom. But did he say that it works best with companies that have about 200 or more employees? That's kind of like the sweet spot for that program.
Well, what he said was that's their ideal target for DAC. And that
Right.
was the CEO that was saying that. And then David came back and said, well, we've worked this agreement that here in the beginning for a limited time, you guys are willing to take on clients as little as 25 employer groups, and it'll be on a case-by-case basis, that 25 up to 100. If they say, yes, you can do pay any day, then it's probably going to be 100% mandatory attendance on that, or acceptance of the use of the Relevate card. 100 and above, right now, for this limited time, they're saying that if it's 100 or more employees, then it can be a voluntary benefit offered to their employees, and they'll be eligible for the pay any day. But the CEO, and I can't remember it, Stewart, was saying that 200 is their number, that's their mark, but they're giving us a run as DAC because of our relationship with them, and they've been working for a year on this platform. They're giving us the opportunity to bring in some smaller mom and pop businesses that are in our local communities to see if we can't make that work, because they've really built this product trying to help serve the underserved, the 80% of Americans that are working paycheck to paycheck. And guys, if y'all haven't seen the Bridging the Gap study, I'm going to attach that as a PDF when I send out the replays tonight, where I send the replay of today's Zoom and then this team Zoom where I send it out by email. I'm going to attach that Bridging the Gap study. It is like an 11-page document, but it's really eye-opening as to the different communities that are impacted more. And it's a great tool for you to read through and understand that the restaurant industry, warehousing, and some of those blue collar jobs where people are making less than $75,000 a year, those are the ones that are impacted the hardest. And where Relevate is really going to be a huge tool for them to retain and recruit employees because of the financial advantage that they'll have to offer to their employees. But it's a great tool. So
Okay.
yes, thank you for
I
the
would like to see that. The reason I asked that, because like I said, I need to go back and rewatch the Zoom. Somehow I just remembered about the 200 employee, and which brings up something I don't know if this is even possible or not. Let's say, because like there's a lot, like one of the industries that you mentioned are restaurants, and there's lots of, and everybody knows that the restaurant employees, part of it is, they got very high turnover, and they don't, not the management, but the
employees
don't make way under 75K a year. But and the things that also, there's a lot of them where the employee count is pretty small. But I was thinking, a lot of them belong to a trade association. So would it be possible, like, say, for example, if we approach a trade association and, if they say, okay, yeah, it's good, we can roll out to all of the members of the trade association, so that collectively, maybe one or two businesses may not have the 200 employees, but overall through the association, you would have a large enough number to make it worthwhile for Relevate. So I was wondering if anyone has ever thought of that.
Well, I like how you're thinking, and that concept works when you're talking about healthcare benefits, where our DAC healthcare, the previous program we had was available to market as a employer plan as a DAC group because we were one big group. But with Relevate, it would not work in that setting because Relevate is tied to the employer, right? The employer that's paying the employee. So that bigger group that you're talking about would not have payroll knowledge of all of these people that are part of their association. So it wouldn't apply in that, but I like the way you're thinking. It's got to go to the employer where they're able to get the payroll report from that individual employer ahead of time. And that's what gives them the number that they're going to make available in the pay any day balance inside the Relevate account. Guys, speaking of Relevate, if you have not set up your Relevate account, you need to go get it done because that's how you earn commissions here with DAC. And also, it's a talking tool, right? When you've got your Visa debit card that says Relevate on it, you have that tool in hand. And even if you are not earning commissions through Relevate, go put some money in the account. It is a bank account. It has a routing and an ACH number, and you can transfer money from another bank into Relevate and vice versa. So I encourage you to get familiar with your Relevate account, put some money in it if it's not coming from DAC yet, and learn how the send money feature works and how the bill pay works and all of those neat functions of the Relevate card work. And I assure you, if you'll do that and you'll do the send money thing a couple of times, you'll go, man, that was fast. And then you'll have a working understanding of how valuable the tools that we have inside that suite of technology with the Relevate Visa debit card is really a powerful tool.
Now, is there a fee if we transfer from another account into Relevate?
No, it'll take the only fee would be if your bank that you're sending the money from charges a fee. Right?
Oh, okay.
My other bank accounts, I have the ability to send to outside accounts. I just have to go in and verify the account, and it takes a few days usually to send money from one bank account to another bank account. So it may take you a few days to get the money into your Relevate account, but it's lightning fast to be able to get it out of it. You could also possibly go in and use the ATM, which you may pay a fee. Look at your ATM rules. You got a couple of free transactions a month, but you could put cash in an ATM and do a deposit on that possibly. I haven't done that one because I've got money coming in from DAC, and all of my money coming in is I'm sending it out either to transfer to pay myself or paying bills through there. So I'm not sure about that depositing, but you should be able to put money in from an ATM network too.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for those talking points for Relevate. That really helps me.
You bet. Thank you. I appreciate your question. Appreciate you being here tonight. Thanks, Jimmy. All right, let's go to Cedric. Hey, Cedric, how are you doing tonight? Can you unmute? There we go. Uh-oh, sorry, I muted you. Try that one more time.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. All right.
That, you know, every week I hear you and David share about this. I become more and more excited. Good job. I really enjoyed that. I'm just probably won't sleep tonight. But I have a quick question. I was looking for the business cards. Where do I find the business cards?
Okay, they're in the Agent Resource Center.
Okay, under.
When you log into the Agent Resource Center, it opens up on the home page. They're on the
Right.
home page. You want to scroll down there in the bottom third of the page.
Okay, and yeah, I've been looking for it for a couple of days. Some
go
of the
Okay, Agent Resource Center. Let me open up. And I've got a saved. Okay, new services launched, new marketing material. Scroll on down, new Connect cards beta mode. Okay, so you go into order now. When you get in there, you'll have to set up an account with the vendor. So you'll use your username, create a username, password, email address, and all of that, and set up the account. And then once you've got the account set up, then you can go in and do set up orders, create QR codes. It'll create a proof. You can create a proof, save a proof, download a proof. You can go in, you change it 100 times and you can't break it. The only thing you can break is if you order your cards without double, triple checking your proof and it's wrong, you just bought the wrong card. So you always want to make sure that you triple check your proof before you place the order button and put your card in.
Okay, thank you for everything. That's all.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
the question. Glad that I could be a part of keeping you awake tonight, Cedric.
Okay, thank you so much.
You bet.
Bye
All
for,
right.
bye for now.
All right. Bye for now. All right, Cherry, how are you tonight?
Hi, good evening, everyone. How are you doing?
Good.
Regarding Relevate, I used it yesterday to pay a couple of bills. And when I was done, I don't know if I was mistaken. Do you earn money when you use it? Because at the bottom, it says I earned a whopping penny. So, do you earn money when you use it? That's the impression I get, that every time you use it,
So it pays interest. I was on a call with Relevate a couple of weeks ago, and they said it pays 38 basis points, so 0.38%, right, on an APR basis. So yes, it is an interest-bearing account, and it pays you on your balance, not necessarily the transaction. But the way they pay and the way that we make money as a DAC agent is all of these account holders that do the direct deposit accounts with Relevate, when their employer starts paying them through Relevate, so they have access to pay any day, every time those employees swipe that card to buy groceries, to buy gas, to go to the ATM, whatever they're doing, when they're using that debit card to pay for something, those transactions are charging fees that get paid back to Relevate. So that's their model to make money off of the transaction fees that are paid by the merchant through the Visa card network, right? That's really their model, rather than charging, because there's no account fee for the account holder. There are minimal transaction fees. You get to send money instant send money for free. You get unlimited next day send monies for free. You get 2 instant bill pays for free. Unlimited next day bill pay and bill pays for free. And you're staying within your ATM network. Those are free transactions to a limited degree. So there's a lot of value built in without having to spend any money whatsoever. If they do want to pay any day, it's only a $2.95 transaction for
Right.
each time they draw money out on pay any day, but not every time they use the card, right? So that
Mhm.
seems to be, I heard somebody saying that's expensive if they got to pay $2.95 every time they do a transaction. No, that's not the case.
Only if you withdraw money, you pay the transaction. But if you use it in a store, I don't think you don't pay anything. That's
No,
the
there's no
impression I
fees.
got.
Yeah,
Right.
there's no fees. And only if you draw money above the 2 free transactions that you
Right.
pay
That you
for
pay. Mhm.
on the instant, right? If you
Mhm.
want to send money to somebody else next day, there's no fees ever. It's free,
Mhm.
100%. And same thing on bill pay. If it's next day, it's free. But if you need it now,
Now, then you pay.
then it's $2.95 for that transaction.
Okay. Question. One of the things people should know that every time you log into your Relevate account, they usually send you an email telling you that someone logged in. So it's very secure. So you know that if you didn't log in, you won't contact them. And another thing is, will they ever do, like, if someone doesn't have a bank account, will you ever be able to send money to someone without a bank account? Because I think right now, they need a bank account number to send money to someone.
Okay, let me rephrase your question.
Mhm.
Will you be able to send money from Relevate to someone who does not have
A
a bank?
bank account. Right.
Well, the bank account is actually a Visa card. Okay, so if someone were to have a loadable Visa card, a prepaid loadable card, they could
Gotcha.
send money to that, because when
Okay.
you do send money, you don't, let's say that I'm sending you money, okay?
Mhm.
I'm sending you money from my Relevate account. When I go in and do the transaction through either my app or through the online bank portal on the web, I'm going in and it asks me who I'm sending money to. I put your name in and either your email or your phone number. And that's all I need from you. I don't need your banking information, right? I'm just sending the link to you. So once I submit that, then it's going to send a link over to you, the receiver. And once you get that link, you're going to open it up. It'll say Ellen Winn has sent you money, and you'll open up that link and you'll fill in the information on the account that you want it deposited into. And it's going to be a digital account, digital meaning another debit card, rather another bank card. So if you've got a loadable prepaid card from anybody, you could literally put that account number in and be able to send money to them.
So any card, any reloadable card,
Any
you can
card
send it
that
to
will accept transfers, yes.
from.
So
Okay.
if somebody has a reloadable card that they can put from a bank account or from another account, yes. If
Okay.
it's accepts from banks, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Great question. All right, James Doswell, how are you tonight?
Hey, hello, everybody. Happy Monday.
Bet.
Hey, Sherry, excuse me. Don't spend all that money in one place, okay?
I have to.
That whole penny that you got, okay, you want to spread it out.
That's right. That's right.
That was funny. Okay, Ellen, I want to make a quick comment here on Relevate. And if I get off track, please just cut me off, okay?
Okay, what you got?
Okay, what Jimmy mentioned about the smaller accounts, I was having the same thought process. So I went back through the training a number of times to see if I could get that addressed. And then I'm looking at over on the Elevate corporate site, all the companies that they have there. They got Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and a bunch of stuff. And exactly what Jimmy was saying, you got these people you know, they have small number of employees per location, and you know, they're, you know, revolving, and there's a lot of part-timers and this and that. And then, you know, they were talking about, well, the number that was mentioned now is 200, but in the training he said 250 because somebody asked that direct question, and he was saying that, you know, you know, they, you know, primarily looking at 250 and up. Well,
and it goes down to 25. Let me say that real quick. So
right,
anybody listening doesn't hear what you're saying and missed what I said earlier.
right. Okay. Now, the way that we've got things set up to help us is we can go down to 25, and it's a case by case each time. And if it's under 100, okay, it has to be mandatory. So they got to have the account or a pay card to, you know, make the whole thing work. Okay. If we understand the product of Relevate, their product is money. What they do is they set it up with the employer through their payroll, you know, system, however that works, that if anyone wants to get an advance, they can get up to 50%. And then when payday comes, Relevate will take the 50% that was advanced and then put the rest in their account. Well, the money goes from the employer to Relevate first. So at that point, they can take whatever the advance was, and it goes right into, and the balance goes into their account. So looking at it from a Relevate standpoint, a smaller company, 100 and lower, 50, 25, you know, you start getting into those numbers. It makes sense that they're looking at it from, does the employer, this size company, have a large payroll responsibility? Because if they do, they're probably not going out of business. Because if they're a really small company and they really like the all the things that they can't get, from a Relevate standpoint, you have to understand that they're just advancing money. They're not looking at bank statements and none of that stuff like we do with the fundings. Okay, they have an agreement. We're going to pay us first. If anybody needs money, we're going to give it to them. We'll take it back on payday. When I was looking at Dunkin' Donuts, that's what made sense to me. It's the volume of Dunkin' Donuts if they've got a corporate agreement. So Dunkin' Donuts corporate, okay, with all those locations, they're not going to go out of business. So it's okay if they got 20 locations and each one of them only got 10 employees on each one with all these things going on. Basically, that's 200. But because of the corporate structure, okay, they don't have that risk of putting that money out there and can't get it back.
Right. And that's a good point. Now, let me say something here on that. When you're looking at that smaller, it could be Dunkin' Donuts corporate, or it could be a large franchisee in Dunkin' Donuts that,
exactly. Yeah.
But you're making a good point there, James. You know, when we look at funding, we've got the higher risk businesses because they do lower revenue. If they're doing lower revenue, that means that they're more likely to go out of business, just like your point of having a smaller employee group. That's a smaller business, and smaller businesses are less likely to survive that 5 and 10 year range. But I also want to say that, remember, we're talking about 25 employees minimum, about getting the access to pay any day. Any size employer can come on board with Relevate, and they can use this as a pay platform, but for their employees to be able to do that up to 50% advance on the pay any day platform, it's got to be a minimum of 25 employees or more. And then between 25 and 100 employees, it is discretional at Relevate's discretion as to whether they would be allowed or not. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Case by case under 100 period. Okay. But I just want to just kind of give that general understanding out. And Jimmy said talking point. Okay, most of what we've just went over is not necessarily a talking point to talk to an employer about, but just for us to know and understand. Okay, so let's say, for example, that they got 50 employees. We happen to mention Relevate to them. Okay, if we've got something incorporated in the conversation that basically says, okay, you call in and speak to someone because that's the way the procedure is. Okay, and case by case, you'll be able to know whether you are a qualified employer or not. And if you are, these are all the benefits, which is on the page itself and in that video. And if not, then you will understand what the situation is. So just to have this knowledge helps us to be smooth when we talk about it, versus kind of being disjointed when you talk
Yeah,
about it.
you got to be smooth in that conversation. And
Yeah.
that's why I pulled this talking point screen back up in case you missed the opportunity to do a screenshot earlier. Anybody that's listening tonight, again, you got to have a conversation starter. And if you start the conversation talking about a pay card, people aren't interested. I've already had that conversation. I've had a lot of conversations with business owners and a lot of conversations with people explaining what our new product is. And when you go to talking about a pay card, oh yeah, there are a lot of companies that do that, or I've heard of companies that do that, or we've looked into pay cards. I talked to a company recently that said we looked into pay cards 2 or 3 years ago and decided not to go that route. So starting with pay card is not the best conversation point, right? Going through the pain. The pain is the majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And if they run into a shortage of funds before payday, they're paying huge fees, late fees, overdraft fees, huge fees to check cashers, payday lenders. Well, we have an innovative solution that is proven to help reduce this stress when they run into cash flow short challenges. It's called earned wage access, right? And our product specifically is going to allow your employees to draw up to 50% of their gross wages without paying any interest when they need cash between paydays. It's no cost to you as the employer to offer, and is proven to improve your recruiting and retention, helping keep those quality workers with your company instead of going somewhere else. It'll save your company money, and it'll save your employees money as well. In fact, the founders of our platform have an extensive background in the payments and financial arena and have been featured in Forbes and American Banker as innovators in this space. Does this sound like something that you might be open to learning more about and exploring further with your company in a way to help drive your profitability as well as show that you care to your employees?
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah, great. I thought that was excellent. Now, I agree with you 100% that starting with the pay card might not be, something that you want to do. But here's the beauty of the pay card.
It doesn't have a sizzle to it. It doesn't have a sizzle.
Yes, it does.
Okay, what's your sizzle? We're going to go on to the next person real quick.
Okay, if it's under 100, we know we got to have mandatory everybody. Well, everybody's not going to either be able or want to get the account. But as Chris said in the training, okay, if the employer has decided that as a company, we're using Relevate to pay everybody, and there's somebody there that doesn't want to get the account or can't get the account, they can still get the pay any day through the card, which comes into the conversation, but you're not leading with it. So to me, yeah, that's the sizzle. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, James. Great insight. I appreciate that. And you're right. I was going to add that anybody who doesn't want to get the account can't get the account. Actually, 100% of the employees will be eligible for the account because they do the know your customer regulations, banking regulations for the employer, not the employee. Remember, the employee cannot overdraft the account. So they're not taking a risk on giving the employee this digital account because they can't overdraft it. It's impossible. They can't create and create fraud on this account the way it is set up, to my knowledge, on the fraud thing. But they do the know your client through the employer, not the employee. But the pay card comes into play when you've got companies that like to do their onboarding process and they're hiring massive numbers of people. And oh yeah, here's your new hire paperwork. Here's your pay card. Let's get you logged into the system today. This is how you're going to be getting paid this coming Friday or 2 weeks from now or whatever. So yeah, it is an option. And even the people that get the pay card can also sign up for the digital Relevate account after they get their initial pay card, and then they can set that up. So thank you for your comments, James. I appreciate you always. Relevant information. All right, let's go to Victoria. How are you doing tonight, Victoria? If you can unmute yourself.
Hey, Ellen, thank you so much. I appreciate you as always. My question isn't with Relevate. It has to do with the ERC. I had to mute in the meeting because one of the clients called me back, and he was saying that he wasn't sure if he was eligible for the ERC, but it sounds like he might be. But when we got to talking, he was also like thinking, well, maybe he'd come on as an agent. So I was like, great. So we were talking about that. But here's my question, and I know it's come up before, but I just want to clarify. If he decides to become an agent, can he do his own ERC? I don't think so. I think he's got to do it through me, right?
Correct. And
that's what I thought.
It even specifies that in the compensation plan. And we do that as a protection for you as the agent, right? Because many times you're out talking to business owners, and if that business owner gets to digging around, they may find that there's an agent opportunity with DAC, and we don't want them going, oh, well, I'll sign up and earn the commission on myself, circumvent you from getting that commission. We would love to have them as an agent. And as the enrolling agent, if you say it's okay for him to earn that money, he could, but our standard policy is no, you can't fund your own business unless you've been an agent for 6 months or more. And then maybe you're an agent, and just through passing of time with your traditional business, you decide that you need funding, and then you can apply through your own link to get funding, but not right off of the bat.
Well, I knew that with the funding, but I wasn't sure with the ERCs.
Yeah, it's the same concept, because it's a big upfront bonus and gets paid out to the agent of record. So yes, it would apply the same on the ERC. But again, anytime you want to enroll an agent and use that as a tool to get them in the business or to get them to move forward with the ERC, you could do that. And, maybe they're saying, well, no, my CPA has told me that I don't qualify. Many times we see that a CPA has told someone that they don't qualify or said, I don't think they qualify. Then I like putting it out there to them, say, well, hey, they may be correct, but it doesn't hurt and doesn't.
That's what I said to him.
Second opinion, free of charge, just to make sure that your CPA was accurate.
That is exactly what I said to him, because he called me. I thought he was calling me about himself, and he was calling me about his friend. And I knew he had a business because we were connected on Alignable, and I was trying to figure out what he was talking about. He's like, no, I'm not calling for me. I'm calling for him. And so then we went all down the road, and I was talking to him about his friend getting the ERC, and he's like, wait a minute. He's like, maybe I can get that too. And I'm like, yeah, you can. I said, you can at least apply. And so then he was talking about maybe becoming an agent. And that's when I was like, well, okay, so let me figure out the best way to, do this. And
right. And remember this too, if he's thinking about being an agent, is he thinking about being an agent because he wants to get the money on his own funding, or is he wanting to be an agent to help other business owners, right? Kind of get to the bottom of that. Once he gets the ERC or funding through us and becomes a client, then he's got the ability to sign up for the Breezy Connect Cash, where he can essentially have the financial benefit, not as much as you, but still have a financial benefit and incentive to tell other business owners about the ERC program through David Allen Capital, or funding through David Allen Capital, and have his own Breezy Connect Cash referral link. But he doesn't have to know anything about what we do, because that referral link is going to send them to your David Allen Capital page. We have it built in where we know that your client, Joe's Automotive, was the Breezy Connect Cash customer that connected them, but it went back to Victoria Willis's website, and you are the agent of record for that client, right? And you're the one handling the client's questions, or you and I together, and you're handling the client's questions, and you get the lion's share of the revenue, plus that counts as one of your qualifying clients to move through the compensation plan and to keep you engaged or amped up, right? So that's the benefit of Connect Cash. They become your personal customers.
Well, because it came up because he was wanting to see about getting a referral fee for referring me his friend. And that's how that all came about. And I was like, okay, let me see how to maneuver this. And even though he doesn't say this anywhere in writing, he's actually the owner of this tire shop, but he's actually also a commercial banker that he's been doing for a long time. So then I was like, well, this would be a good person to become one of my agents, because he actually knows what people are talking about.
Yeah. So again, that's at your discretion.
Yeah.
If you feel that he would be beneficial as an agent, you can have that conversation with him. But I would just say, hey, it's against our policy for you to do your own funding right out of the gate. But let's bring you on board and see how many other businesses that we could help them get this money, and you'll get rewarded significantly for doing so just by referring them over. Our team of experts does all the work. You just need to know the basics of the conversation to give them the right information to begin with, and then our experts take over.
Cool. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I was glad you guys were still on when I hung up with him, because I was like, I need to ask Ellen a question.
Got it. Well, thanks for the question. I'm sure that was beneficial for others too. Thanks, Victoria.
Yes, thank you. Have a good one.
You as well. All right, I've got Jimmy back up. Oh, Jimmy, sorry, I muted you. I asked you to unmute and click the mute button at the same time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this what you and Victoria just talked about. Just so the Breezy Connect Cash is available for ERC also, not just for funding clients. Okay. Does it also apply for Relevate clients or not?
No, it does not at this time. And I have asked that specific question with David. So I'm glad I know the answer. The reason being is Breezy Connect Cash is the Bank Breezy platform, right? So our funding programs and soon to be our payment processing are on the Bank Breezy platform. Relevate is a David Allen Capital product. So Breezy Connect Cash would not apply to Relevate. Make sense?
Okay. One last question.
However, wait, one more thing on that before you
Okay.
question. We will soon have that ripple effect referral program built in. They've been working behind the scenes on Relevate for the consumer referral program. So that is coming, where there'll be an incentive for our Relevate direct deposit employees of these employer groups. Once they're a Relevate client, they'll have an incentive to tell others about it. So you'll be getting paid off of that, and there may be some incentive built in there for an employer. I don't know for sure, but it won't apply for the Bank Breezy Connect Cash.
Okay. One last question. Do we still have that health insurance product?
We do. And the link is through the bottom of your David Allen Capital site. You can go over to DAC Healthcare. It's not at dachealthcare.com anymore on that separate website. It's actually built into the David Allen Capital page. So it's davidallencapital.com/healthcare, I think, / your ID number. But you can click the link on the bottom of the page there in the footer, and it'll take you to the correct page. We have the S&I, the Sovereign Nation Insurance. I am using that product myself. It is the largest PPO network in the nation, and it's very affordable compared to traditional insurance. And it is an insurance program. And there are like 3 different tiers of coverage. You can add comprehensive coverage to it, and you can add vision and dental and all of these add-ons. I don't have those. I don't need them, but those are available options. So it'll save a family money. It's not an employer group plan like we had with the previous provider. It's for individuals, but you would not be prevented from offering that as a voluntary benefit through an employer group, where you could go in and talk to the employees about it, show them the website. You're not an insurance agent, so you could just make them aware of it. And if they wanted more information, here's the number where they could call and talk to one of our insurance agents. You could actually have the brochures and the pricing plans laid out so they could go talk with their significant other and look at what their family pricing would be. And then they could call and ask if they had questions. But you could certainly offer that as a voluntary benefit that would be a self-pay benefit. So if they wanted to sign up, then they would go through your DAC healthcare website. They would sign up through your ID number, and then they would self-pay every month.
Okay. And so I'm glad you mentioned that we don't have to be an insurance license to offer that.
Right. And since we're not licensed, then we need to be careful about how much information we cover, right? We want to
Right.
go back to the website and say, oh, that's a great question. Let's go look at the brochure and let them read the brochure. Or that's a great question. Let's get you on the phone with one of our licensed agents to answer those questions for you. That's always, and I defer everything that we do. I don't try to be the expert when I'm talking to a prospective client. I know, as you guys hear me on these calls each week, I know a lot about everything that DAC does, but I don't want to be the expert. I really want the experts to talk to my client so that I can move them along, let the experts handle it. I know they're in good hands, but then I can move along and have conversations with agents on my team that need help, or I can be prospecting my own clients and not being tied up in the details and in the minutia with a client where I really don't need to be digging and diving that far in the first place.
Yeah, that also helps with the recruiting and talking to your team, because some of them might feel overwhelmed that this is way too much information for me to learn. So it's no, just
Yep, you bet. You don't need to know it. I defer people back to the website. Somebody wants to get involved with DAC. Every once in a while, I'll sit down and do a one-on-one presentation with someone, but most of the time, my one-on-one conversation is piquing their interest and saying, okay, you've got the big picture overview. Now you need to go watch the business presentation. And I send them through to watch the presentation on our partner page so that they're hearing from David Rutz, but they're also seeing what they're going to be doing if they get involved. They're going to see that they don't need to know the story to tell it. They don't need to know the ins and outs of everything that we do. We refer them back to the tools and make it simple. So great point there, Jimmy. Thank you for your comments. All right. I have Bruce Campbell with a hand up. Hey, Bruce, how are you tonight? Sorry, I hit mute. I was trying to unmute and you'd already unmuted and I muted you. So unmute yourself again.
There we go. Hi, Alan. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you.
Fantastic. I'm a little hard of hearing today. I'm actually got one side of my head kind of plugged up. I don't know if it's an ear cold or it's just that I'm getting old. I don't know which one it is, but I'm not worried about that. I have just one question in regards to the new products that are going to be coming out. You got the Zoom product that's coming out. Do you happen to have a date on when that Zoom product will be available?
I do not. I just know it's right around the corner.
Okay. All right. Well, I know you'll keep us informed. I do think
I will. And I'm excited for that to come because I have 2 different phone lines and I'm going to port both of my business phone lines over to Zoom instead of paying GoDaddy for one and Smart. What's my other one? I forget what it is. I just pay for it, the Google app. Both of them work great, but I'm going to become my own customer and port those numbers over to Zoom. So I'll keep the same number, but I'll be a client through DAC. That way I'll be a user, a product of the product, so to say, so that I understand how it works. Just like I gave the example a few minutes ago of even if you're not earning money through DAC yet and got money coming into your Relevate account, you need to put some money in it so you know how it works, right? So that you're a product of the product and can speak from experience how easy it is to use and how everything works. So that's what I'm going to do
Yeah.
with it.
And thank you so much for touching base on as far as a lot of the recruiters or guys I'm bringing in. They think that they need to actually know everything and actually going out of their way to actually act like they are knowing everything, which they don't. And I keep warning them, are you a licensed agent? Do you really want to get everybody in trouble? Okay, because you need to funnel every customer through the DAC website, and all the documentation is right there. You
Yeah.
need to have the professional be handling your client when you have a client contacting you. So would you please follow the protocol of what we need to do to keep everything legal and proper? I mean, you're also you're actually jeopardizing my life license, and I've had mine for 21 years.
Yeah.
So
And
I don't want my license jeopardized. I've worked too
like,
hard
Grace,
for it.
you're in California, and I don't know if the agents you're referring to are in California or New York, but different states have different laws regarding funding. And I know a couple of months ago, David and Wade Cordell came on from Bank Breezy and was talking specifically about the funding process and making sure that everybody is protected in that. And that's why Bank Breezy and David Allen Capital have the errors and emissions insurance, and they have additional insurance on our website so that they're protected. In all of these states that have their different laws, we have licensed agents in those states. Some states, if you've got an independent agent out there that's trying to collect documents directly from a client, they may be violating state laws and not even know it, because I'm sure that there are funders in this space that we're in the alternative capital space that have independent sales agents where you can go direct and sign a contract with some of those lenders. And I don't know, I'm just speaking off the top of my head here, I don't know, but I'm sure that not all of them are putting what the rules are out to every agent that signs up with them. In fact, some of them may not even be aware of some of the rules that they're potentially violating. So just know
Yeah.
you're in the right place with the right company that's protecting your welfare as well as the company's long-term welfare by making sure that we're doing the right thing. So thank you for doing that. And thank you
Yeah,
for.
thank you. Yeah, one of the questions on the state exam in California is how many agents actually know what they're talking about? And the true answer is only 25% of 100% know what they're talking about. The other 75% don't know what they're talking about. So you better get another opinion along the way. That's kind
That's
of
a great
funny, but
point. Back to
true.
the CPA, right? You better get an opinion, second opinion.
Yeah. All
Awesome.
right. Well, you have a
Okay,
beautiful
Chris.
night. Thank you.
Thank you as well. All right, and I've got Bobby Knight back. Hey, Bobby.
Hey, thank you once again, Ellen. If you haven't used your Relevate card and you don't remember what you put because it's been a while since we had that, what should we do?
What is it you're trying to do with it now? If you haven't used it, are you talking about logging in or you don't know where your card is?
No, I have my card
Okay,
ever since they, when they first started.
okay. So rephrase your question.
So what do you have to go to your card to log into it and stuff? Because I don't remember all the details on that.
No, you just want to go to relevate.com, and when you're there, there's an option for consumer login. And once you click on that, it's going to ask you, it'll actually take you back through a link through David Allen Capital, or mine does. Maybe it's saved cookies, but it'll ask you to log in with your email address and your password. And if you don't remember that, then you can click the reset password link and it'll email it to you to let you get back into your account so that you can log into your dashboard. There's also a Relevate app that you can download, but the login process is the same. It's going to ask you for your email address and password.
Okay, thank you, Ellen.
You bet. Thank you. Thanks again, Bobby. Appreciate your kind words. All right, guys. I don't see any other questions here. Let me look in the chat real quick. What is your text message number to receive reminder messages from me? That is my, if you'll go, I'll give you where to go to find that. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but if you go to subscribe.ellenwinn.link, subscribe dot my name, Ellen Winn, all one word, .link, not .com. That gives you access to subscribe to my emails as well as my text messaging platform. And my text messages are not going to put you in a group chat. It's just going to be my messages coming out to the group. I don't respond to those, but I typically put that in the message to let you know, hey, I don't respond to these. If you need me, use my cell phone. Okay. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. It's been a great call, lots of questions, and you guys have been very active. So thank you for your participation and attendance. It's Monday. I'll send this along with today's, and I'll promise I'll send out the Bridging the Gap PDF. So make sure you read that. That'll go out as an attachment tonight. It's a great document and give you great insight as to the huge need of the Relevate Pay Any Day pay plan, pay card. All right. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you on the next Zoom. See you on Friday.